Hi everybody, my name is Ethan. I'm a student and I'm here to share you simple knowledge about pattern and its different kinds. I'm gonna start off by saying that pattern is everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Whether you look at the trees, you look at the buildings, you look at the sky, there's a pattern there. Even when you hear a sound, there's a pattern there. Even when you move, there's a pattern there. The pattern is everywhere you look. It's what consists our life. As long as we recognize that it is a repeating design or a repeating sound, then it is a pattern. Understanding a pattern is very important because if we were able to recognize the pattern of something, then we are able to understand it in a much deeper level. The same thing goes in math. There's always pattern in there. It's usually present when we're solving a problem. When we trying to recognize a problem, we usually try to correlate it into a solution, and to solve something, then there is a pattern to solve the problem. And another thing in geometry, the shapes, the lines is a pattern. And since um, solving a problem requires a pattern. An example of this is when we're trying to subtract. When we're trying to subtract the smaller number into the bigger number. Like when we say 2 minus 1, that's 1. But if we change it to 1 minus 2, then we're confused. If we understand how to solve these types of things, and we understand that, oh, that's negative 1. Going back into the patterns of in our world, there are so many patterns that we were able to categorize them into 6 different types of patterns. The first pattern is the pattern of visual. It's the most basic one. It's usually when you look at things and you recognize that there's a repeating design. This is usually present in buildings, or in t-shirts, or in leaves, or in everywhere. As long as it's a repeating design and we're able to recognize it, then it's a pattern of visual. An example of this is this piece of rope. If you're able to recognize it, there's a pattern that looks like a feather that is present everywhere you look, even at the back. Since it's a repeating pattern, you can recognize it. It's a pattern of visual. In nature, there's also pattern of visual. Like these two leaves from different plants. It's from different plants. As you can see, it's almost like the pattern in the middle is almost identical. And that's a pattern of visual as well. Next one is a pattern of flow. Pattern of flow is usually present in any types of liquid or bodies of water, or even in the air. For you to understand what is a pattern of flow, I have here water in a cup. You can see it's still, no movement, but if I do this again, as you can see, there's like a wave coming from the side of the cup into the center, and if I do this again, it's usually that's when it's gonna happen. That's a pattern of. Next up is a pattern of movement. It's the same as visual and the flow, but it's related to movement, or you're moving. One of the best example of this is when you're walking, right, left, you're blinking. But my favorite example is when animals migrate from one place to another. It's usually a constant place that they're traveling when they're trying to feed or when they're trying to mate. The fourth one is a pattern of rhythm. It's the same as those 3 examples, the different kinds of patterns, but this time it's related to sound. An example of this is how we recognize animal from their sound. Like a dog, woof woof. It's constant. Every dog woofs. Every cat meows. Every bird tweets. And that's an example of pattern of rhythm. The fifth one is a pattern of texture. Now it's the same as pattern of visual, but this time you can touch the thing, and the thing has a constant texture in it, whether it's rocky, or the thing is constantly smooth or soft. For example, I have that pineapple. It's from SpongeBob, but I didn't steal it, I borrowed it. You see this? There's a pattern, but if I touch it, it's a rough surface everywhere. And that's a pattern of texture. Last but not the least, is the geometric pattern. It deals with a pattern that is shape, so it could be the pattern of visual as well, but the geometric pattern is usually about shape, like squares, triangles, diamonds. For example, I have this. It's addressed to an apple, but I didn't steal it. I borrowed it. Don't worry. You can see there's like a diamond shape in there, and it's constant everywhere. You can also see this from your windows or even the buildings. There's always shape there. It's a geometric pattern. And that's all the patterns I can think of. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Ethan again, and I hope you learned something from me. Thank you.